recommendations to Parliament and to the Presidency to consider a new framework for protocol and diplomatic support to former presidents and former deputy presidents during international travel.
Advocate Thandazani Madonsela has been recommended as the person who should lead evidence against President Cyril Ramaphosa in his impeachment inquiry. Madonsela was recommended in a vote this morning with a narrow win of 9-7. However, it will be up to Parliament's administration to make the final appointment. The inquiry will be looking at whether the president should be impeached or not over his handling of the theft of US dollars at his Palapala farm in 2020. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
The committee today considered 8 advocates who have indicated their availability for Parliament's first impeachment inquiry against a sitting president. Despite Advocate Thandazani Madonsela having declared that he had overseen junior advocates in providing 2 legal opinions to a political party regarding matters raised in the impeachment committee, he still emerged as the favourite among opposition parties. The nomination by the EFF was backed by the MKP, BOSA, ACDP, ATM and the UAT. The DA's nomination of Advocate Kate Hofmeyer, supported by the Freedom Front Plus and Action SA, lost out by 2 votes. Committee Chairperson Makashule Gana says Madonsela's recommendation will now be forwarded to Parliament's administration.
Once the evidence leader is appointed, the evidence leader will then recommend the 2 assistants.
The committee is today also expected to consider a legal opinion on whether Ramaphosa can be compelled to testify in his impeachment hearing. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu's name has once again surfaced at the Madlanga Commission, this time over allegations that he interfered in an IDAC investigation. IDAC prosecutor Drishanta Ramsamy is testifying about an investigation into allegations that the KZN Political Killings Task Team abused the Crime Intelligence Secret Services slush fund. Among the claims is that the PKTT sought to purchase 2 forklifts with more than 700,000 rand using the Crime Intelligence secret funds. Ramsamy says Mchunu appeared to have a vested interest in that particular probe. Alpha Ramushwana has more.
IDAC prosecutor Drishanta Ramsamy has alleged that suspended IDAC chief investigator Dylan Perumal went rogue by consulting a witness in the forklift investigation without her knowledge. Ramsamy has told the Madlanga Commission that Perumal later informed her the witness had been flown to the Eastern Cape for the consultation, allegedly by suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. She says she had initially thought Mchunu was simply receiving updates on IDAC's broader investigation into crime intelligence. However, she says it later appeared that Mchunu had a particular interest in the investigation into the forklift matter.
It seems strange to me that Minister Mchunu would be involved in this investigation, but Mr. Perumal did not offer any further details regarding Mr. Mchunu's involvement in the investigation.
Mchunu is expected to return to the Madlanga Commission when it begins part 3 of its work. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
The Paarl Hospital Outpatient Department has officially been reopened. Months of major restoration work got underway after a fire caused extensive damage to the facility in January. The blaze resulted in the evacuation of around 750 people, including patients, staff and visitors, and also caused significant structural damage. Western Cape Health and Wellness MEC, Muriel Wenger.
Although the fire in January caused extensive damage to the building, it did not stop patient care. Our healthcare workers ensured services continued while the facility was restored, and through an extraordinary team effort, the major restoration project was completed in just 6 months, half of the expected timeframe.
And floods and landslides triggered by monsoon rains have killed more than 100 people across India since last month. Official data shows thousands of people were also forced to flee their homes. While the annual monsoon season brings rainfall that farmers depend on, scientists say climate change is making the phenomenon more erratic, unpredictable and deadly across the South Asia region. India's northeastern state of Assam is among the hardest hit by the annual rains, with at least 87 people killed there. Well, gold is trading at $4,156.12 an ounce. The rand is at 16.40 to the dollar, 22.09 to the pound, 18.93 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $80.32 a barrel.
Well, at this hour, heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, expect about a 20-minute delay in the Amalgam area on Main Reef Road between between Nasrec and Anderson, while in the mother city, we still have those roadworks causing some delays. N1 incoming before Viaduct, and there's also roadworks causing delays still on the same route. N1 incoming approaching the engine garage.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 23 and 24 degrees, and Cape Town is partly cloudy with a fresh northwesterly wind and a high of 17 degrees. The top story in EWN: South Africa's High Commissioner to India, Anil Suklal, has been recalled for consultation following the recent pictures of him at an event with one of the Gupta brothers.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Coming up on the show today, State Advocate Dushantha Ramsamy dishes more dirt on Advocate Andrea Johnson. South Africa's High Commissioner to India recalled for consultations following his Gupta meeting. Advocate Griffiths Madonsela recommended as the evidence leader for the Pala Impeachment Committee. We'll bring you the first episode of our new feature, The Hope Dealers, and we'll speak about Banyana's turnaround at WAFCON. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Good to be with you today. Well done to Banyana qualifying for the quarterfinals and really managing to turn around their run at WAFCON. So they'll play Morocco in the quarterfinals on Saturday night. I watched Morocco play Senegal a couple of days ago, and they were good, really, really good. But good luck to Banyana. What are your thoughts on that? Send me a WhatsApp voice note, 072-702-1702, 072-567-1567. What are your thoughts on the story about the High Commissioner to India being recalled for consultations? The Minister of International Relations, Ronald Lamola, making that announcement earlier today. It was a bizarre explanation from the High Commissioner about how he landed up at a religious event with former President Jacob Zuma and the Guptas, who are fugitives from justice. It's just bizarre, all of that. So now he has to come and explain himself. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Let's start today at the Madlanga Commission, where we have a return to evidence of Advocate Dushantha Ramsamy. This is the advocate who testified last week, who dropped the files and brought the recordings of the conversations with Andrea Johnson. She's been speaking more about the toxic atmosphere at IDAC and how she was treated and other issues as well. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter, is there. Alpha, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. Take us through some of Dushantha Ramsamy's evidence.
Good afternoon, Mandy. Well, I think it's another explosive testimony by Dushantha Ramsamy at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today, and this time the focus is suspended police minister.
Alpha, I'm going to stop you. Sorry, we're just struggling with the line at the moment. I'm not sure if it's your line, if it's all of our lines, so we're going to just try and get you back. In the meantime, while we sort that line out to Alpha, let's listen in live to what is happening at the moment so you can hear that testimony for yourself from the State Advocate Dushantha Ramsamy.
I can see it so clearly in my head, the point where Mr. Perumal was standing up and he did this, but I am your commander, to Mr. Rapesu, because Mr. Rapesu was objecting to these things. And so in order to facilitate this thing I said, and I knew where the direction of Advocate Johnson was going to be if I took this to her. So I indicated to them, Mr. Rapesu has made great strides with leg 1 on the Lushaba matter, and I had been receiving updates every day and an updated report every day. With regards to the Mukwele matter, I suggest that Mr. Perumal and Mr. Padiachi continue so that we don't have this. But they were still supposed to report everything to me so that I could report it to Advocate Johnson, which I was completely bypassed on. So in essence, it was me that removed Mr. Rapesu from the Mokwele. But the problem that started was Mr. Rapesu, after I had left the meeting and the investigators were still discussing, Mr. Perumal had told me after that Rapesu needs to get in line with how we work. So, and it's not only him, that if you stand up to Mr. Perumal, I've explained what happens to you. So in light of all of those things, in the back of my head, I doubted that these allegations, because it happened again, I think it was last year or sometime early this year, to another investigator that was allocated to Mr. Perumal on the diversion matters, where he was placed with an email or a letter saying that he must respond to allegations, and they were the most ridiculous allegations I've ever read.
State Advocate Dushanta Ramsamy testifying at the Madlanga Commission. Let's cross back to Alpha Ramashwana. Alpha, sorry about that. Let's give it another go. If you can take us through her testimony so far today.
Well, good afternoon, Mandy. I think it's yet another explosive testimony by Dushanta Ramsamy, an IDAC prosecutor, and this time around, the name of suspended police minister Senzo Mchunu has resurfaced at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Dushanta Ramsamy saying that it seems that Senzo Mchunu may have interfered with an IDAC investigation into crime intelligence. You would know that since November 2024, IDAC has been investigating several allegations at IDAC that were in a whistleblower report submitted to IDAC by National Coloured Congress MP Fadil Adams. And this specific one that they're focusing on today is allegations that the KZN Political Killings Task Team abused the Crime Intelligence Secret Service slush fund and sought to purchase 2 forklifts worth more than 700,000 rand using the Crime Intelligence Secret Service slush fund. Now, Dushanta Ramsamy says it seems that Senzo Mchunu had a vested interest some way, somehow, in the investigation into the forklifts matter. He even paid for one of the key witnesses in the investigation to be flown from Pretoria to Eastern Cape to consult with suspended IDAC Chief Investigator Dylan Perumal, who was suspended about 2 weeks ago. Now, the question that Ramsamy is posing to the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is that why would Senzo Mchunu allegedly pay for a witness to be flown from Pretoria to Eastern Cape himself to consult with an IDAC Chief Investigator who was also allegedly not meant to be involved in this investigation. So it seems, according to Ramsamy, that Senzo Mchunu had some vested interest in this investigation. We did hear from Andrea Johnson a few weeks ago, also refusing and denying that she had met Senzo Mchunu. She later conceded that they met once, but it was a meet and greet. But the testimony and evidence presented by Dushanta Ramsamy today suggests that Senzo Mchunu and Andrea Johnson actually met twice, sometime in January last year. And in one of those meetings at Mchunu's residential property at his home, he told Johnson that he was working on a plan to clean up the South African Police Service, specifically the Crime Intelligence Unit. So Senzo Mchunu's name is in the mud once again, allegedly for interfering with an IDAC investigation when he's not meant to be doing so. So let's take a listen to what Dushanta Ramsamy had to say.
To me that the witness had been flown to the Eastern Cape by the Minister of Police, Minister Mchunu, in order for Mr. Perumal to consult with the witness.
What was your understanding of this? Did you understand it to mean that Minister Mchunu had paid the airfare? If not, what was your understanding?
My understanding is that all arrangements were made by Mr. Mchunu or Minister Mchunu for this witness to consult with Mr. Perumal in Eastern Cape.
My focus is on flown. What did you understand that to mean?
I had assumed that the minister's office had paid for, because I had later met this witness and he would not have been of financial means to have flown himself to Eastern Cape.
All right, thank you.
And this witness was coming from Pretoria?
Correct, from the vetting department of Crime Intelligence.
Thank you.
Sorry, the procurement department.
Procurement department, thank you.
Is this the witness that you refer to as the forklift witness?
Correct.
Okay. So maybe we should just then refer to it as the forklift witness.
State Advocate Dushanta Ramsamy testifying there at the Madlanga Commission.
702. 702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
All kinds of sordid details emerging from the trial involving Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, corruption trial currently underway. And it was a dramatic day yesterday, largely because we had the walkout of a senior advocate who was supposed to give evidence, but also because we've heard the details about luxury home renovations and curtains made from imported fabric for 600,000 rand. Do you spend 600,000 rand on your curtains? I mean, that's a lot of money to spend on curtains. So that's all being ventilated at the moment in the court. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter, joining us there. Khomotso, good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time. We had an interior designer on the stand. What do we have at the moment?
That's right, Mandy. Nomsa Shabangu just wrapped up her testimony, and she had been cross-examined after giving the evidence that you are describing there. And I think the important thing from her testimony is the fact that she claims that she was paid between 1.7 and 1.8 million rand over 2.5 years, and most of that payment was made in cash. And she says that payment was for the purchase of those bespoke curtains, as well as the renovation and the building material. We have been hearing testimony this morning from more witnesses who are taking the stand. Very short testimony that we've heard this morning from a witness who had been an employee in the Defence Force. And this is someone who had been a legal advisor in the Office of the Minister, and she's actually just completing her testimony now. And her testimony really speaks to the evidence that was given by Nombasa Ntsondwa-Ndlovu, the Defence Force contractor who's accusing the Minister of corruption, Mandy, around a meeting that she says she had with the Minister on one of the days where she had to pay one of the bribes. And really, her testimony is brief, and I think it's because it's just to confirm one aspect of the evidence that was given by Ntsondwa-Ndlovu, and that's whether during this event that happened at the Waterkloof Air Force Base, which was a Women in Defense event, whether or not Nombasa entered the minister's office and whether or not she spent some time there with the minister. And the witness that's testifying now has confirmed that. She has confirmed that she did see Nombasa enter the office of the minister. Now, whether or not Nombasa was going to deliver the bribe, whether or not when she saw the money, she said she didn't see any money. She could see Nombasa's bag, but she didn't see any money. But I think the state's point with this witness is whether or not Nombasa had that interaction with the minister on that day at the Waterkloof Air Force Base. And I think that has been confirmed through the testimony.
I'm interested, as all of this is coming out, what Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula's reaction has been. It is an almighty fall from being a defense minister to hearing these kinds of details coming out.
It's very difficult to tell, Mandy, because she sits in court every single day with a mask, the type of mask that you would have seen people wearing during COVID. And I think it might be intentional. I don't know if she's unwell and she's wearing the mask because she's unwell, or she might have the flu like we see people wear now. But she's been wearing this mask from the very first day of trial, and this is the third week of trial. Of course, there are very tight rules in this courtroom around taking pictures and videos, but we are allowed to take pictures of her as the media. And in all and most of the pictures that you will see her in court since the start of trial, she has been wearing a mask. So I can't really tell her facial expressions. Her body language, however, she sits in the courtroom, each day. From time to time, she had been taking notes. She hasn't been taking notes with the latest witnesses. I know that during Nombasa Ntsondwa-Ndlovu's testimony, who's the star witness of the state and the one who's accusing her of the corruption, she was taking notes quite a bit. It's very difficult to tell. Her husband, Charles Nqakula, sits in court every single day behind her. And, he too has been listening quite closely to the evidence. It does seem like a lot of her family is also here attending the proceedings. It's the same faces that are attending this case. And so it's very difficult to tell in terms of her body language, but I can tell you that she is listening to the evidence that's being led.
Khomotso, thank you very much. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter in court for us. I mean, it is quite something. We have seen national police commissioners in the past on trial for corruption, but to see a former defense minister, and then her husband, of course, Charles Nkakula, was the police minister in South Africa. So to watch that, I mean, that is accountability. That is evidence that is being laid. It's a corruption trial. It's a former cabinet minister, a former speaker of the National Assembly, and evidence currently being laid against her for corruption in court.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 51. Did I use too many emojis in that text? Did I sound too eager? Oh, the mental gymnastics. Well, with the Outsurance pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Sharpen your competitive edge and get ready for the next installment of the Tournament of Champions. Do battle on the biggest stage and prepare for an epic showdown as you fight for your share of the 500,000 Rand prize. Bet R2 or more on selected spinners zonke slots to blaze a trail to the top of the leaderboard and claim victory.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
For news on South African industry and mining, Creamer Media's Engineering News and Mining Weekly has you covered. Click through to Creamer Media's Engineering News each day for the latest on the people and companies shaping the energy transition and South African industry. Keep your finger on the critical minerals pulse by visiting Creamer Media's Mining Weekly. For deeper insight, subscribe to the Engineering News and Mining Weekly magazine, out on Fridays. Creamer Media, current, credible, comprehensive.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good day, Mandy. Banyana. Are just not good for that AFCON they are playing. They are just poor. They will not come back from Morocco. Morocco is too good and too strong for them. And with the MK, we are just calling it the MK. The instructions are from the Guptas. If you can't see that, then you are really, really blind. The instructions are from the Guptas. This party can be called MK. That's a Gupta party. That's it. Thank you.
Good day, Mandy. Mandy, let's be honest. This women football, we are forcing it. It's not working. We don't support women football. The African continent doesn't support women football. That is why in WAFCON, there are no supporters there. There are no sponsors. But when they win this thing, you will hear politicians start talking, saying they must get equal pay as Bafana. Where will Safa get the money if Julius Malema is not going to the stadium to support the Banyana? We are forcing this thing of women football. It's not working. They only won one game, but they're already on the quarterfinals. Come on.
So my immediate reaction to that voice note was, what? And then Palesa tried to make the case in studios, saying we haven't got the same kind of audience that is watching women's football to men's football. But then you look at Banyana and how much better they do than Bafana at World Cup. So I suppose, to be fair, it wasn't too bad this time around. But it should be different. We should be supporting women as much as we're supporting men. Gayton McKenzie should be spending 31 million rand on going to watch Banyana play. So maybe I'll temper my response to that, because my initial response was outrage. I mean, do you think that's a fair voice note? I'd love to hear from you. Sipo says, Mandy, another sad day where Manyi can't phone your show and comment on the appointment of Duduzane as an MKP leader than him. What is the motivation of ANC faction that pushes MKP and EFF, GNU, not DA? Imagine Paul, Malema, Zuma and Mashaba changing days as our president is Mkhunu, still convinced he's done nothing wrong. Thank you very much for those messages.
702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
The Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, having a briefing earlier today announcing that our High Commissioner to India will be recalled for consultation. And this is because of that meeting. I don't know, he was photographed alongside former President Jacob Zuma and AJ Gupta. Let's hear what Tabiso Goba, EWN reporter, has to say on this. Tabiso, good afternoon to you. What did the Minister say during that briefing?
Good afternoon, Mandy. Well, it was quite a comprehensive media briefing. As you'll understand, the Minister of International Relations does tend to travel a lot, so he's not usually here in South Africa. I mean, he spoke a lot about, international law, the upcoming vote for a new United Nations Secretary General, and the lobbying that's been happening for South Africa's vote, the wars across the world, but particularly in Africa, and the obvious economic and humanitarian ramifications that has for ordinary South Africans here. But he also spoke about, that, Mandy, there was Ghana tried to get the African Union to discuss what it called xenophobia that was happening here in South Africa. And that discussion option was rejected by the African Union. And what the Minister of International Relations, Mr. Ronald Lamola, saying that, they did welcome that position, but he also emphasized that, that migration is not just a South Africa issue, it's an Africa-wide issue. And there needs to be an AU summit that encompasses all of Africa to speak about the migration patterns, what causes them, and why countries like South Africa, Egypt, and Morocco sort of carry the burden of the majority of migrants that move away from their country. So saying that, a discussion on just South Africa will just be reductive and wouldn't necessarily bring about those scientific solutions that are needed to resolve the problem of migration in South Africa. But then he also spoke, Mandy, around the South Africa's High Commissioner to India, Mr. Anil Suklal. We know that he was in June this year. He was recently photographed with the former state president, Mr. Jacob Zuma, and the infamous AJ Gupta. We know is one of the suspected masterminds of the state capture that took place during Mr. Zuma's presidency. And at some point, he was someone that was supposed to come back to South Africa and, answer for some of the crimes that are against him. And so this caused obviously a very diplomatic, embarrassing shift for the South Africa's International Relations Department. This is why the South African Relations Department has now introduced a new protocol plan for international travel for former presidents. This includes that they have to set out their full itinerary so that the commissioner and ambassadors know exactly what those former presidents are going to do when they visit those international countries. Now, Mr. Zain Dango, the Director General of International Relations, he explained around what this former protocol is going to entail.
So whether Ambassador High Commissioner Suklal knew about the visit or not, obviously he would have known because we would be getting communication from the presidency that the former president would be visiting a country, in this case India. But what we don't get is details about what the visit will be about. And that's all the High Commissioner will also have known, is that there is a meeting, and then he was subsequently invited to the same meeting. And that's the subject of our discussions that we will be having with him. So it's not about whether we knew or not. We always get a letter, and the letter is standard that indicates that we must provide protocol to any of the presidents that do travel. But what we do ask for now is increased guidance and increased transparency about what these visits would be, to safeguard not only Turco, but to safeguard the country's national interests and reputation.
Thank you very much to Tabiso Goba, EWN reporter at that briefing today by the Minister of International Relations, Ronald Lamola. 12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. The absence of National Coloured Congress leader Fadil Adams from today's meeting of the Impeachment Committee in Parliament has raised eyebrows. Adams was not present to vote on the recommendation for an evidence leader as he serves his suspension. In December, Parliament suspended him from parliamentary meetings and sittings for 20 days and docked his salary for publishing a DA staffer's personal details on social media. South Africa's High Commissioner to India, Anil Suklal, has been recalled for consultation following recent pictures of him at an event with one of the Gupta brothers. In June this year, Suklal, along with AJ Gupta and former President Jacob Zuma, were seen together attending a religious ceremony at a Hindu temple in India. AJ Gupta is one of the suspected masterminds behind the state capture era, which took place when Zuma was president of the country. And suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu name has once again surfaced at the Madlanga Commission, this time over allegations that he interfered in an IDAC investigation. IDAC prosecutor Drushanta Ramsamy is testifying about an investigation into allegations that the KZN Political Killings Task Team abused the Crime Intelligence Secret Services slush fund. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Mawande Mateza. Banyana are now just one win away from qualifying for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. Banyana advanced to the quarterfinals at the Women's AFCON as the runners-up in their group after beating Burkina Faso 1-0, while the Ivory Coast won their match against Tanzania 2-1 to progress as the group winners. Banyana will play Morocco in the quarters on Saturday, and a win there will secure their place in Brazil next year, as all 4 semi-finalists are guaranteed automatic qualification. Banyana coach Desiree Ellis is confident that her team will keep improving as the current tournament progresses.
It's not how you start, but it's how you finish. We've been encouraged. Even though we lost the first game, we created a lot of opportunities. And as a coach, we don't create opportunities. It's a bigger problem. In the second game as well, we created opportunities. But the fight back shows what this team is made of. I thought today we gave an all-round performance. It's not going to happen overnight, but we keep working. We keep working on being better, and that's all we can do.
In transfer news, Turkish Super League side Trabzonspor have announced that they've entered talks to sign former Liverpool star Mohamed Salah. The forward arrived in Istanbul this morning for his imminent signing, where he was welcomed by thousands of the club's fans. And lastly, the police in Scotland are investigating reports of several foreign athletes going missing after the conclusion of the Commonwealth Games. The athletes, who've been identified in the media as boxers from Uganda and Pakistan, failed to return home after competing in the games that ended in Glasgow last Sunday. Reports of missing athletes after the Commonwealth Games have been common in recent editions that have been hosted in Australia and in the United Kingdom since Glasgow in 2014, with some seeking asylum in those countries. Mawande Mateza, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, expect about a 20-minute delay in Amalgam on Main Reef Road between Nazareth Road and Anderson. Otherwise, the rest of Gauteng not looking too bad. No major accident or no serious accident or major delays have been reported on our highways. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights in Lone Hill at Lone Hill Boulevard and Main Road. Traffic lights also out of order in Sharon Lee at President Kushia and Malibongwe Drive, while in the Mother City. Look out for those roadworks on the N1 incoming, approaching a viaduct. We also have roadworks heading towards the engine garage. That's also on the N1 incoming. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
At Specsavers, we're committed to offering affordable and professional eye care. That's why we're offering 1,500 Rand worth of savings with our winter promotion. Get a free frame up to the value of 1,500 Rand or use the 1,500 Rand on one of our leading vision enhancements, like Climate Eyes, which automatically adapts to changing light. To qualify, simply purchase a comprehensive eye examination and prescription frame and lenses. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
Unleash your extraordinary with the ultimate content powerhouse. Unfold the all-new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 256 gig and get a free 1,500 Rand in-store accessory voucher for just 1,549 Rand per month over 36 months on a 4 gig Red Core plan. Plus, Add 149 Rand extra per month and get the new Galaxy Watch 9 eSIM. Pre-order now. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
Small businesses are anything but small. They're the backbone of our communities, the dreamers, the doers, the ones who keep Mzansi moving forward. That's why 702 and Capitec Business Banking are putting them in the spotlight. Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m., catch Small Business Focus with Capitec, where we showcase the hustle, heart, and the secrets to thriving in today's economy. Your vision matters, and with Capitec, you're never building it alone. Small Business Focus with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. on 702. Capitec Bank is an authorized FSP 46669.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, Mandy Wiener and the fellow listeners. Congratulations to Banyana for making it to the quarterfinals. I hope they make it through to the semifinals also. I think Desiree, she's just playing a certain tactic, but then again, we'll see with them results. Your friend Andrea Johnson, the bombs that are coming out of there, she must just be charged already. And you know what? I can't wait for the day when Ntlanhla Mkhwanazi and Khumalo come and drop a hammer on all the people involved. Of course, Mchunu is involved. There's no any other way, but I'm just waiting for that day. And I know they are also patiently waiting. They are just waiting for everybody to go to Madlanga and lie so that they can throw them in jail. That's the tactic.
Yeah, I can't believe the previous voice note. I can't believe it. I mean, in the World Cup, Bafana had to win one game to be in the group stages. Obviously, there's not as many female leagues or countries that have national teams. So the fact that we won one game and we are in the quarterfinals, Bafana, they won one game and they were in the group stages. So I don't believe this guy, Joe. I don't. Yeah.
Thank you, and Eli. That voice note earlier, in case you missed it, saying that this thing of women for football is not it. We're pretending to actually be supporting it because there's just not enough support. And how can Banyana make it to the quarterfinals by just winning one game? I don't think it should be like that. I think we should absolutely be supporting women's football. There's no reason not to. We need more leagues. We need more sponsorship. We need more investment. I mean, you just look at the story of the US women's soccer team and how they were able to band together to fight for equal pay. It's the most incredible story. There's a documentary about it as well, and it just shows what's possible.
The Hope Dealers,
telling the stories of
people changing the narrative in the city of Joburg.
I'm so excited to share this new series with you. I've been quietly working on this as a passion project for the past few months, and I've been witnessing the passion, the collective action being taken by individuals and communities working to restore and rejuvenate Jozi. So in this series, we'll be telling you the stories of those people and organizations that are changing the narrative in the city of Joburg. I know there's a lot of negative news. We have a negativity bias as the media, and I believe in light and shade, that we need to balance that out. And we have a responsibility as journalists to also tell you the good news stories. So we've got 10 episodes that are coming your way. Hopefully there'll be more if we find a sponsor for the series. So if you're listening and you're keen, get in touch with us because these are amazing stories. This week, I'm visiting Miles Kubeka and the team at Twalisa in Alexandra. It's a simple but powerful model of refilling containers. So they've turned a small idea into a big movement. It's a concept that helps citizens save money, reduce public waste, rethink the way they shop. This is a story of women empowerment, a circular economy, a self-sustaining community through alternative service delivery. Take a listen. How much food would you buy if you only had enough money for today? And for many families, this isn't a hypothetical. It is a lived reality.
My name is Mandy Wiener, and I'm telling the stories of the hope dealers, people who are choosing to change the narrative in the city of Joburg. And today we're in Alexandra, interviewing Miles Kubeka, who saw an opportunity to close this gap with Kwalisa, a model which helps people save money, reduce plastic, and change the way they shop.
The Kwalisa idea is a smart one. Whether it's a cup of rice, a cup of milli meal, or just enough cooking oil to get through the day, people only buy what they can afford. It helps stretch household budgets, reduce food waste, and prove that small acts of innovation can really make a life-changing difference.
The reason why this Kwalisa was important for us is that view, right? Richest square mile in Africa, right here. A kilometer away.
This dichotomy is crazy.
Right?
To be able to look there and see Santon and then see Alex in the foreground.
And then I face you that way, and when you look that way, you could be anywhere on the continent. Like, it's
literally the highest Gini coefficient in the world.
Yes, I get to work on that to solve for, right? So that's why I'm excited. That's why this Kwalisa is super important for us, because if we get that right, we build a blueprint.
Tell me about the basic premise of Kwalisa and how it works.
You come with a scuffteen. If you don't have a scuffteen, we'll sell you food based on the amount of money you have. We decant it for you. So you'll say, I want rice for 136 cents, and we'll sell you rice for 136 cents. You want a tea bag? Sell your tea bag, 50 cents.
The real innovation came in encouraging people to reuse their containers. And by using this simple but powerful model, they were able to turn a small idea into a big movement. Have you found people have been receptive to the idea of bringing their own containers?
Yeah, they've been very much adoptive to it, largely because we're not asking them to do anything new or different. You know, it's just an extension of, oh, now I just save money without having to think about it, you know? Whereas in the northern suburbs, you know, now you have to put things in different bins and all of, you're trying to change how people behave. We thought the best way to get people to buy into something, pun intended, is don't change how they do things. Just add it as part of their lives. You don't have a lot of money. What ends up happening when you go into big retail, you buy a lot of small pack sizes of things, which means your propensity to litter is exponentially higher. You litter more just because you're buying a lot of small size things. So what we do by removing that, it just makes it such that there's one less problem for the township to contend with.
Empowering women has been crucial to your model. You can see behind here, women are the heart of Kwalisa.
Yes.
That was intentional.
So for us, it was a no-brainer. If you look at it, Kwalisa is open from one side to the other, whereas every spaza shop in a township, you buy through a hole this big. Why is that? And the reason is because we go and find community-based organization run by amazing women, and we say, look, you're already doing something great for the community, you're either feeding kids and all of that, and we focus on women who are already doing that because from a health and safety, they understand food. But the real secret sauce is because the community already trusts them. They've been feeding the kids in that community for years without making any money. So with the Kwalisa model is to say, okay, you've been doing all this great work, but maybe now here's an opportunity for yourself also to just support your own existence and make yourself sustainable. So women have been like the massive secret sauce. In fact, one of the questions we get asked a lot is like, have you been robbed? Because it's so open, touch wood. Nothing yet in 3 years. And I think the source is the fact that it's women run and they know everyone.
So tell me about the other things that you do. You mentioned 5 things.
When we started, it was a food thing, but then there was load shedding. Because all our Kwalisas have solar, we were the only ones lit in the community and it felt wrong, you know? So what we did is increase the amount of panels. Now we reticulate electricity to the houses around us. We power things like traffic lights. We reticulate electricity and people buy electricity based on the money they have. We now also do water. So we're busy building water into our platform. We discovered a lot of people it's too far to go to the hospital, and a lot of our customers are either on ARVs or type 2 diabetes meds, and you can't take any of those meds on an empty stomach. So we now do a very discreet combo, so you can come and get your script with your food. from Gwalisa. And then the last one is we provide free internet access for the community. This was our first Gwalisa. So this is version 1.
This is the OG.
This is the OG. And we've left it the same way because we wanted to figure out how long does it take before it dilapidates, essentially. So all these houses here run on our power, on our electricity.
It's like creating a little sustainable community.
Yep. I'll call it alternative service delivery. But the trick about it, it's not about us. It's the community. No one calls me at 11 o'clock when the power is no. It's self-governing.
This is one of your newest Gwalisas.
Yes.
It's next to the women's hostel here
Yes.
in Alex. This is your latest version
Yes.
of what a store looks like.
This is what we're going to be rolling out going forward. Our store managers every morning walk around with their phones and it reads all the shelves to make sure there's no expired goods. It makes sure that stock that is food is not stored next to detergents, and it does all of that automatically and it generates reports for us.
What is the plan looking to the future? You want to scale, you want to take this to other townships. What's the big vision?
We're growing in Alex, and then the idea is once we've saturated and figured out one township, you go to the other. Because townships are different, right? So it's very important that you don't get ahead of yourself. The ultimate vision to me is like how you can find a Starbucks in every corner. So for me, the big vision is you go down the street, you'll find it Gwalisa. You go down the street, you'll find it Gwalisa, for sure.
What's really struck me from spending time with Miles and the team at Gwalisa is that this is not just about a model to buy food. It's about so much more than that. Yes, that closes the gap, but it's really a catalyst to create self-sustaining communities and solving problems around socio-economic issues in South Africa.
That's the story of Gwalisa Miles Kubeka in Alexandra, and it's the first episode of the Hope Dealers series. So every Wednesday at this time, we'll be bringing you a new episode of people who are changing the narrative in the city of Joburg. If they're people that you think deserve to be spotlighted, and if it's something that interests you, do get in touch. Let us know. We've got the most fabulous stories. I've been working on this for the past few months, meeting such extraordinary individuals in the city of Joburg. So if you want to watch the video, you can go to Prime Media Plus. It's on the videos tab. So there's a whole video documentary series. You can check it out on my socials as well, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, Instagram, and TikTok. And I'd love to get some feedback from you. Thanks so much for listening to that.
Strong communities are built on a strong local government. Every day, municipalities work to deliver the essential services that improve lives and support thriving communities across South Africa. As the voice of local government, SALGA represents, supports, and empowers municipalities to build capable institutions, promote good governance, and advance effective service delivery. SALGA, inspiring service delivery.
Make sure that your life-changing donation goes exactly where it's meant to. With Izinga Assist, you can give with complete confidence because every donation is secure, transparent, and traceable. Funds are safely managed through a dedicated ShopRite Money Market account, and you'll receive clear proof showing the impact of your contribution. Give with trust today at izassist.org. Izinga Assist, doing good, done better. Proudly supported by Pramedia Cares.
Clever excuses for being late. Number 91. The lift looks suspicious, so I had to take the stairs all the way up. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
And now, it's back to Mandy Wiener on the Midday Report.
This is 702.
Let's walk the talk.
12:50 on the Midday Report with me, Mandy Wiener. We now have an evidence leader for Parliament's impeachment committee. Advocate Griffith Madonsela SC has been recommended as the evidence leader. There was a vote that took place earlier today. Nine members voting in favour of Griffiths Madonsela. 7 voted for Advocate Kate Hofmeyer, 11 abstained. Today, the impeachment committee considering also a legal opinion compiled by parliamentary legal advisors on key questions the committee has been grappling with as it prepares its terms of reference for the inquiry, including whether the president can be compelled to testify as well, whether he can invoke the right to remain silent. So that matter of Pala, the impeachment, is currently underway. We're hoping to speak to Lindsay Dentlinger, EWN reporter. We're just struggling to get her on the line. In the meantime, on the WhatsApp line, good job, Mandy. This is so refreshing. Jerry from the Vol. Oh, thanks, Jerry. I think it's important for us to balance the narrative. So much of what we cover is so negative. And then the Irish men's football team actively volunteered to take a reduction in appearance fees so that the women's team received equity in appearance fees from Adam. That's really interesting. Thank you very much for making that point. Right, let's go to Lindsay Dentlinger, EWN Parliamentary reporter. Lindsay, good afternoon to you. Tell us about the vote for an evidence leader today.
Good afternoon, Mandy. Well, you will recall that process was put on hold last week when the committee was dealing with other matters following that court interdict. And so in the main, they were looking at a short list of 8 advocates today. Those are the 8 who had indicated that they are available and up for this particular task. There were several other names also nominated by political parties in an extended period that was granted to them to add more names to the pool. But ultimately, it came down to the vote of Advocate Thandazani Madonsela versus Advocate Kate Hofmeyer, which was who was nominated by the DA. There had been a little bit of a debate about Advocate Vuyani Ngilwana being excluded from this particular shortlist. The ANC quite adamant on that matter, but his name was not nominated for consideration. But Mandy, this is, should point out, merely a recommendation. In inquiries of Parliament, we've not in the past seen committees themselves nominating or recommending who they would want to lead evidence in these particular inquiries. But this committee has been quite adamant from the onset that they wanted to have a say in this matter. And so now that vote, 9 votes to 7, the ANC abstaining from the vote, Mandy, and their allies Al Jamar and the Patriotic Alliance doing the same. So essentially removing several votes from how this could potentially have turned out. And so now that recommendation of Advocate Madonsela will be sent to Parliament's administration to do the administrative work of possibly appointing him to lead evidence in the President's impeachment inquiry.
Lindsay, thank you so much for that. Lindsay Dentlinger, EWN Parliamentary reporter, speaking to us there about that recommendation for Advocate Griffiths Madonsela to be recommended as the evidence leader. Tracy says in the WhatsApp line, how do we encourage people to vote if parties abstain from voting in something this important? Oh, that's a great point. Why are they abstaining? Because of the politics around it, obviously.
7:02, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
Hi, Mandy, about Banyana. I think they do very well under very difficult circumstances. I don't think the quality of football of this particular team is good as the one that got us to World Cup last time round. So there's definitely a bit of a lull. But the real problem with South African soccer is SAFA. They don't progress the football in this country at all. Let's be honest about it. They're not a good organisation, and I think our football suffers tremendously because of them. That's the real reality of South African football.
Hi, Mandy. Hope you're good. Great show. Coming to Banyana. Look, I have faith in them. As much as other people don't have faith, I have faith in them. The last game they played, I think it was against Cote d'Ivoire, when they were 2 goals down. They came back to draw. So that shows there is something there. So I have faith in them. As compared to Bafana Swak, I mean, they failed multiple times Banyana, at least they're doing something. So now from my side, I have faith in them. This is Tower from Kibla Park. Thank you.
Swak. Tabo, thanks so much. So we've had some debate about women's football in the show today, and who better to speak to about this than Amanda Dlamini, the former Banyana player. Amanda, good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time. We've had a couple of one voice note, to be fair, being a bit disparaging about women's football and the quality of football and how we're trying too hard to try and support Banyana. But they're in the quarterfinals of AFCON, and a good performance, a good turnaround for them to get there.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mandy, and good afternoon to all the listeners. I think Banyana had the whole country, in chokehold, because we were all just so nervous from the first game. I think a lot was expected, taking into account that they won the WAFCON in 2022. So they're automatically coming to this tournament as tournament favorites. So I think their first game just really didn't give anybody any kind of hope that they might really, stand a chance to progress. And so was the second game. But I like the second voice note that they came from a 2-0 deficit and they came back to draw the game. And I think we started seeing little glimpses of the old Banyana that we sort of kind of got introduced in 2018 up to 2022.
What do you think it's going to require of the team to get past Morocco and advance further in the competition?
I think something that we haven't really displayed, the identity of South African football, what we know the girls are capable of doing, just believing in their abilities. We haven't really seen the likes of Linda and the likes of Fifi taking charge of that midfield, spraying the passes, to the wide areas where we can get the crosses. So we haven't really seen our identity in the girls. And I think that's something to really get back to the structure. What do they have? What have they been preparing? The patterns of play so that they can succeed, because they play up against the team of Morocco, their host nation, and a very, very organized team. So we really need to sort of have our patterns going and just the confidence, because I think the girls are really, a little bit startled at the fact that the tournament hasn't really taken the rhythm that they want. So I think it's just really going back to the basics, find the identity, and just, find the belief and the confidence that we saw in the last game.
If you look generally at the quality of football currently being played at AFCON, what's your impression been, and how do we improve it? And how do you think, is there justification in suggesting that it's just not as good as the men's game is and we shouldn't be supporting it as much? What is your response to that?
I think it's very responsible of us to then, have a statement of that kind of nature when we can see the disparities from the onset. I think the quality and just the broadcast on its own, it just leaves someone that has the desire to watch football, maybe without any lack of, appetite anymore, because the quality is just not there. I think CAF has really put in some big building blocks to make sure that the women's game is where it is. But I think the spillage from the men's AFCON, to be honest, that really impacted just the preparations of the women's tournament. It really impacted, the readiness, the state of readiness, the tournament organizers, and therefore it just looks like the players are not giving so much quality. But if there's no stadium attendances, that's the LOC. They should be in charge of, mobilizing fans to come and support. When we were there in 2022, the stadiums, we were at record-breaking numbers. So it becomes a little bit impossible to believe that a country like Morocco, who are passionate, can then, overnight turn and not support women's football. And so I think the image that we're seeing, the representation of African women's football on the continent, is not a fair one.
Amanda, thank you so much for your time. Amanda Dlamini, former Banyana player, speaking to us there about the advancement of Banyana to the quarterfinals of WAFCON. They'll be playing Morocco on Saturday night on the WhatsApp line. Hi, Mandy. We need more women filling up stadiums when women's soccer is playing. That could encourage us to develop more players and grow the sport. We're starting to see that with cricket in South Africa. We're starting to see stadiums fill up. So absolutely, I agree with you. We need to get more women, more people into stadiums as well. But Banyana, let's hope they come through on Saturday night. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for listening. We've still got the Madlanga Commission. We've got evidence being led there involving IDAC. Oh, and then Parliament is suspended for Deal Adams. So lots of breaking news as well. 1 o'clock, time for Eyewitness News.
This is EWN.
Sanctions against Fadil Adams make him miss out on key parliamentary meetings, and SA's High Commissioner to India recalled for consultation. National Coloured Congress leader Fadil Adams from today's parliamentary meeting of the Impeachment Committee has raised eyebrows. Adams was not present to vote on the recommendations for an evidence leader as he serves his suspension. In December, Parliament suspended him from parliamentary meetings and sittings for 20 days and docked his salary for publishing a DA staffer's personal details on social media. Earlier last year, Adams was also banned from the House for 15 days for a vulgar social media rant. Committee Secretary Teminkosi Ngema explained his absence when the matter was raised at the committee.
Chairperson, just a quick brief explanation. NCC member